Two Wheels this week, Wayne joins hundreds of scooter riders as they deliver Easter eggs. And Claire meets a relative newcomer to the world of stunt riding. And I take a look at Aprilia's new RS250. But first, here's Jeff with Honda's highly acclaimed VTR SP1.
Now, the words Honda and quality have always gone together, but so unfortunately is the word blandness. But this, the RC51, or as we know it in the UK, the VTR SP1, is about to change all that. Forget your VTR Firestorm, nice bike that it is, because someone in Japan is a Monty Python fan, and when they heard, and now for something completely different, this is what they came up with. Goodbye, Mr. Nice Guy, hello, Viagra Man. But does it all stand up? Well, it does stand up, or at least it does while it's on its side stand. But look, that allows us to look at this, one of the most distinctive features of the VTR, the air intake, this V-shaped air intake right at the front. It's special because that feeds air straight through a plastic duct here and actually through the headstock. Special casting in the headstock there takes air straight through to the airbox under here, feeding cool air straight to the fuel injectors. And while we're actually down here, having a look-see down here, you can see the side-mounted radiators. Again, a very distinctive feature. On the race bike, they actually put them down the front of the engine. This one, they're side-mounted. Behind all the fairing, there is the motor, VTR motor. 90-degree V-twin, 999cc, gear-driven cams, Nickel-coated bores, all very high-tech, all very racy, and nothing like your ordinary road-going VTR Firestorm. But out on the road, the fuel injection is not quite sorted. It can hunt on a light throttle and cause lurching when feathering from a shut to open throttle. Not that it will bother you most of the time, because the SP1 is meant to be worked hard. In fact, keep it spinning around 7,000 revs and you're doing 80 in third. Wind it on and in seconds you're hitting the rev limiter at around 10 grand, by which time you're doing 130 and you're still in third gear. Mind you, playing these games is thirsty work, like 34 to the gallon thirsty work. Bad enough you might think, but with an 18-litre tank it will only get you about 115 miles before a fill-up is needed. So the booming V-twin engine's a stonker. But how about the chassis? This too is all new. It's more VFR than it is VTR, and it starts up at that massive headstock, comes down here with these side spars to this big casting for the swinging arm mount there. New swinging arm, as you can see, very heavily braced there. Behind there is a single shock absorber, fully adjustable for preload, rebound damping and compression damping. Similar to the front. Upside down as on this one. And as you can see here, a very neat adjuster there for compression damping, so you don't need any tools. You can just tweak that little knob there and you're away. And while we're down here, see this adapter plate? Calipers there, but that adapter plate allows you to change the calipers for anything of your choosing. Saves you messing around with the forks. All very neat stuff. Out on the road, all this comes together beautifully. The suspension is firm, as you'd expect, but it's sophisticated enough to soak up those kidney-jarring potholes that can catch you out. At around 200 kilo, it's a whole 30 kilos more than the new blade, but it's difficult to believe. In fact, with the riding position that puts your body weight forward, the weight is so well distributed, it disappears and makes this an easy bike to ride well. So is it Viagra Man? No, it doesn't need any artificial aid. This is a sports bike in the raw. It has red blood in its veins all right and is a match on the road for a 996 Duke, but racing is where it will have to earn that elusive glamour. Still, at a touch under 10 grand, it's still one hell of a competitor. Boom boom, as we V-twins would say.
Now, it's certainly not uncommon for two-wheelers and the occasional three-wheelers to do charitable things. That's people on motorcycles and indeed on scooters. And that's why we're here, because this is a scooter gathering. In fact, it is a Easter egg run. It's organised by a guy called Ginge, and if you met him, you'd understand why he's called Ginge. Smashing fella, him and his missus have organised this splendid occasion. Now, they do this every year, and they reckon they're going to do it for many years in the future, and we hope they do. The idea is very simple. You bring an Easter egg, you come on your scooter, and you take a little ride through a few towns, end up at the hospital, drop the Easter eggs off, and they're distributed round the kiddies in the hospital. And we wish them all well and hope they get well soon. And that's simply that. And in a minute, that's what they're going to do. They're going to gather together hundreds and thousands of the flaming things. In fact, some have come so far, they stopped overnight in tents and caravans because they've come such a long way. And I hope they have a nice and safe journey home as well. Now, Ginge, you're a sort of, and Caroline, you're the organising members of this setup, and you've done a great job in everything. And we know that you've been eating some pies, Ginge. We can tell by your overall structure. You do everything big. The size of this flipping Easter.
Yep, everything's big.
Is this one of your donations or not?
No, it's from Transco.
And they've come along with. They must have had this specially made.
They've had it specially made, yeah. I think the
Let me just have
Waterfield.
a strike a light. Hey, that'll keep me busy for an hour.
The
watching telly.
Waterfield's made it, didn't they?
Yeah, that's
Waterfield.
excellent. That's really good. How many people do you reckon we've got here then this weekend?
I think we're going to have over 1,000 this weekend.
I think so. I mean, that's brilliant. Isn't it?
Non-stop phone calls for about 4 weeks now.
Really? Yeah.
Every time you get home, the phone doesn't stop ringing. Every time you get home from work, it's about 25 messages on the answer phone. And oh God,
So it's been an organising nightmare. But do you think when you get here on the day now, do you think it's worth it?
he doesn't till 10 o'clock at night.
Is that right?
When the event's been a complete success, he calms down and relaxes.
That right,
The
yeah.
whole day and like the whole week beforehand, he's like,
Well, the pressure's on you for the moment, isn't it? But I mean, even if everything went completely wrong, I don't think anybody's going to call you for the efforts that you put into it. When you get to the hospital there and you plough them all over the eggs and everything like that, I mean, there must be 3 or 4 times more than they need.
Oh, yeah.
You take them home and eat them.
I used to do. I'm on a diet now. I'm trying to lose a bit of weight.
Oh, yeah. You've obviously only just started.
no, they give him out to all the children's wards in Manchester and that.
Oh, do they? To
Yeah.
other hospitals? But you bet you go to Pendlebury Children's Hospital to drop them off and then they're spread elsewhere.
The only year we've not done Pendlebury, they actually put a request out over the radio for people to bring Easter eggs in for kids.
Yeah.
And we decided from then onwards that we just do it there all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a good ride out. The Lead Police are brilliant. They're the ones who do the ride out for us.
Yeah, there's a lot of organising involved there, isn't there, with traffic and everything else. But there is still more organising to be done, and we've got a little while before it gets going, so we'll leave you to it, and we'll have a chat with some of the other folk that have arrived.
Right,
Thanks very much, and the best of luck with it all.
Thank you very much.
Speak to you again.
Thank you.
a lot.
I'll tell you what I have noticed, the variation in two-wheel forms here. I can tell you we've got the modern-day scooter in original trim and the souped-up versions. We've got the old scooters, 20, 30 years old, in standard trim, souped-up versions, customised with long forks, mirrors and dials and buttons everywhere, and even three-wheelers like this one, which I must admit is rather comfortable. Now check this out, a Scottish flag. These folk obviously haven't come from round the corner, have you?
No.
No, you have come from Scotland. That's a good job at all. Kilmarnock. Flipping it, now that's not just up the road then, that is a few hundred miles away.
5 hours drive.
5 hours. You set off yesterday afternoon then?
No, left last night about 12 o'clock.
Decided on
12 o'clock last night.
We were at a golden wedding anniversary. And
So you hang on a minute here now, you were partying last night?
it. Yeah.
I hope you didn't have anything to drink?
with a few beers, but we stopped.
Right.
And we made the decision to come.
And what time did you set off this morning then?
Quarter to
half
6.
5,
There's
quarter
something
to
wrong with
6.
you, sir. You weren't dressed like this obviously, you must have had a whole load of
No,
gear
no,
on.
it's like
I bet
the
it was a bit chilly, was it?
The Michelin man.
The Michelin man with all your kit on. So it was a golden wedding anniversary and you decided there and then last night you were going to come down to this Easter egg run. I think that's
right.
splendid. Have you been here before then?
No, this is the first time
Is
Ginger's
it?
Easter run.
But you've heard about Ginger's
yeah.
Easter egg run. Yeah.
That's why we wanted to come.
Yeah, excellent. And it is quite a splendid gathering, isn't it? There's certainly a lot.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Recommend it to anybody.
Now you've done a daft thing in my eyes, coming on the last minute decision, such a long journey on a little scoot, which I know obviously you must have been fairly comfortable on the back here, yeah?
Yeah, very.
Excellent. But I mean, when you're going back, like,
Tomorrow sometime.
oh yeah, you're off work tomorrow, and you're going back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we wish you a safe journey then, and well done. Thanks very much for coming.
No problem.
Gentlemen, start your engines, please!
Right, listen, you two. I believe you've been pretty good, you two, because at the disco last night you didn't drink, did you? You didn't have too much beer, no, because you were doing a bit of dancing and you were collecting some money. Is that right?
No, I didn't do the dance.
You didn't do the dancing?
No,
Why
someone
not?
else did the dancing.
All right then. Somebody else did the dancing, but what did you do? You went round with the bucket and collected some money.
Charity.
Is that right? For charity. Very good. What did you do with the money? Stick it in your pocket?
No.
No. What did you do with it then?
Bought Easter eggs.
You bought Easter eggs, but did you buy the Easter eggs for yourself or for somebody else?
Somebody else.
Who have you bought them for?
Hospital.
Have you now? And you brought them here to give to the kids, haven't you?
Yes. Yep.
A very decent thing to do, I think that is, and I think you get a round of applause. In fact, if it was me, I reckon you should keep an Easter egg apiece. Do you eat chocolate?
Sometimes.
I bet you do, but we'll give them the kids that are not so clever, eh? Stick them in this basket behind us here. And well done, kids. Nice one. You did a grand job. Nice one. If you've been biking for a number of years, it's very likely that you've got a wardrobe full of biking gear. A couple of different helmets and loads of different jackets and trousers. What really would be your favourite? What gear would you really fancy if you had a whole load of money to spend?
My favourite bit of kit, it's got to be my new Dune helmet, Quantum F. My wife bought it for my 40th birthday present, so got to wear it, haven't I? Top helmet from a top rider. It's comfortable, nice colour, bright. Full biz, get an iridium visor on it, and you won't see me coming, will you? You won't see the fright in my eyes.
My favourite bit of kit is an AGV crash helmet. Splendid colours, nice and safe, well worth the money I spent on it.
The kit I've got at the moment, obviously, is I'm quite pleased with the jacket. It's got an inner lining and, you know, good protection and whatnot, padded on the knees and such like. But if I could really afford it, I think I'd go for a full one-piece suit with all the armour in it.
After the break, Claire meets stunt rider Neil Porter. I ride Aprilia's RS250, and there's another top tip from Jeff.
The names Craig Jones, Kevin Carmichael, Gary Rothwell and Dave Coates springs to mind when you think of stunt riders. Well, one guy who knows all about the preparation, patience and practice it takes to be up there with those guys is Neil Porter. Neil, I saw you had a huge grin on your face out there when you were pulling some of those stunts. You obviously enjoy it, but one of the most impressive things about it, you make it look so blooming easy.
Well, yeah, you've got to enjoy it and make it look easy. The more easy you make it look, the more the crowd appreciates it, and it's a lot harder than what it looks, but the easier you make it look, the better you are, I think, and the better you are, the better you feel. That's why I enjoy it more.
Yeah, obviously all about entertaining the crowd. How long have you actually been doing this?
For shows, less than 6 months really. I only started basically before Christmas, a Street Fighter challenge. Messing around by myself quietly, just over 12 months I'd say. I've had my band at just over 12 months.
It's really impressive, particularly when you come to see some of the freestyle sections. I mean, some of the kind of things that they get up to is just gobsmacking really. I mean, I've seen Kevin Carmichael take his front wheel out wheelie down the straight. I mean, where's it all going to end? Is it just going to keep on getting more and more outrageous?
I think, yeah, it's not going to end, I don't think. It's hard to find your own stunts these days now, because you think of something and someone's already done it. It's hard to do now. You're playing catch-up all the time, really, because you've got to be out of your brains, really, to find anything else now. But I'll keep on trying, and I'll try and find my own, but it's just hard to find it now.
Absolutely. What's your favourite kind of stunt that you do?
Favourite stunt is, I would say, sat over the handlebars, waving at the crowd, basically. It's impressive.
It is.
Not so many people can do it. It's not that hard after you've done it, but to get up there and do it, it takes a bit of bottle, but you're all right. Once you've done it, you're all right. You get used to it.
Talking of bottle, it's obviously something you've got quite a lot of. Do you get nervous in front of those crowds? Because it's really quite pressurised, isn't it? Because you're coming out and they're all expecting you to wow them. Do you feel the pressure of that?
It's very nervous. Yeah, before I go out and do a show, I find myself very nervous. But once I've got out there and it's like, right, Neil, you're on next, and like you're out there in front of the crowd, you do relax, and the more you relax, the better it is. As long as you can get the crowd behind you, get them cheering, it's more entertainment than actual stunts as well. You've got to be able to entertain a crowd as well as do the trick all in one, and it makes a good day then. Everyone's happy.
You'll have to get yourself into pyrotechnics, get some flames coming out the back of your bike and all that like Craig Jones does.
I'll try something like that, yeah. Like I say, it's more entertainment as well as crowd pleasing. It's good.
Now, you're obviously passionate about bikes, but why come into the stunts world and not, say, racing, for instance?
I've had a go at racing. I did 3 years of racing. Basically, there's a lot of people that can go out and race, and there's a lot of good racers, riders that way. But if you'd like, the percentage of riders that can go out and race is a lot. There's a percentage of riders that can go out and just do a stunt. There's not that many. Everyone can just do a normal wheelie, but when it comes to like the technical stuff, not so many people can actually do it. So I found that I could do a stunt riding a lot easier than what I could do racing. But racing, the background of racing did help me out quite a lot to build your bottle up. It's good.
Well, you're obviously very, very talented. I'm sure we'll have to watch out for you in the future.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Cheers.
I'll be there.
Wow, look at that. That's impressive, isn't it? 92, 94, 5, 6, 7. There's actually 98 and 99 missing from that, because this, of course, is an Aprilia. Tremendous racing pedigree combined with Italian style. So there's nothing brand new about an RS250. We all know what it looks like, or what it should look like. This is the latest 2000 model, and of course, all the differences, the main differences, are in the styling. Different shaped front end for a start. Now I've got a big hole here. Only got one hole, looks a bit odd, but that's an air intake there. Suppose it looks nice. Down at the back, you might remember the original RS250 had black cans on it. We've now got these nice silver alloy ones, which look a bit better. Still got the very distinctive and very smart polished swing arm, polished frame, all looking very nice. Down at the back end here, completely different shape to this seat hump. Little cubby hole here, compartment, look at that, for a rider's backrest. I don't think so, not very soft. But you can put a few bits and pieces in there, and lock them securely away. But let me just show you this now. Now this is very interesting. What's that? What's that? It's a piece of very, very hard plastic and sort of rubber finish on it. But it's rock hard and it doesn't flex. Worked it out yet? It's a pillion pad. Those two go in those two holes there, and you secure it onto there. There's a little strap that goes over the front of it there, so your pillion can hang on for dear life. It's absolutely solid. You might as well really be sat on a plank. So a little 250cc two-stroke. Everything's about performance, isn't it? Power, and it's a stroker, so it's got a power band. Still got the same engine as we've always had, the RGV Suzuki 250cc motor. But really, I've got to say, around town, it's completely useless. If you ever only ride through busy traffic, don't ever think of one of these. Below 6,000 revs, it's completely flat as a flute. It's awful. But if you hit about 8,000 revs, get it on the open road, a bit of country lanes, it's like, wow, everything's gone blurred. It's just amazing. It really has got a fantastic power band, and you've got to hang on to your hat when you hit 8,000 revs. But it's not just the engine that's high-tech and high performance. The dashboard's pretty high-tech as well. Let me show you this lot in here. Now then, what's this? Loads of lights and numbers and readouts and all sorts of things. It would probably take me half an hour to explain all of this to you. But if you press that button there, that gives me the vehicle's maximum speed. That's the maximum speed since the last time we reset this to zero, which at the moment is reading at 102 miles an hour. That wasn't me, officer, honestly. Average vehicle speed, 37 miles an hour. Obviously we've got the mileage and the trip, all that kind of thing. Over here, temperature in degrees C, that can be converted to Fahrenheit with the press of a button. That's a clock at the moment. That can be changed to give you a battery voltage reading. That can go from miles an hour to kilometres an hour. You can set the point where your red light comes on for your revs, so if you're running it in, you could set it so that every time you hit, say, 7,000 or 8,000 revs, the red light comes on to warn you. It really is fantastic. It's got a lap counter on it as well, if you're into track stuff. It really is a tremendous bit of kit. But fancy bits of kit don't come cheap, and it's a fact that For less than the price of this, you could probably buy a reasonably good 600cc machine, because this little RS250, this new model, will cost you £5,500 to put on the road. It's only a little 252 stroke, remember. But, you know, if you want racing pedigree and Italian style, you've got to pay the price.
Toolkits. Now all bikes come with them, and hopefully you've still got yours. Useful tools in there to do just running maintenance jobs. But behind it, if you've got all this plastic on, you do get a little boot area, and you can always carry some extra tools in there. But if you do, you don't want them rattling around. So what I did, got a 4-litre container of milk from the old supermarket, use the milk first of course, cut the bottom off, and you make yourself a little boot liner. And in there I've got some rags, and I've got a side stand as it were, and also a very useful pair of grips. So I won't put that back now. But here's a tip. If you happen to break a footrest off, which I've done before, especially if you're on a track day, with a pair of grips, you can just pick up a bit of structural steel work there, or aluminium work, clamp it on, and there you've got a temporary footrest, which will at least get you home.
He's a clever bloke, that Jeff, isn't he? Where does he get his ideas from? I don't know. Well, next week I'll be stepping back in time a little bit, taking out this Triumph Thunderbird Sport. Also, there'll be more biker chat and another top tip from Jeff.